Oh man, oh man, oh man. One of the things that fire me up, and not in a good way, this is not the good firing up type, is the fact that natural herbs and substances that grow out of the earth, such as psilocybin mushrooms, marijuana, DMT, are made illegal, and in most of the world you can get locked up for very long periods of time for either possession or being under the influence of certain substances. Now look, let's just take a step back here, okay, and look at this as humanly objective as possible. To look at this from the point of view of an alien, of somebody watching over the events that happen on Earth, just watching it objectively, having no business in it, no agenda, nothing. Just a bystander, an observer. This is nature. This is nature. Where I am right now is nature. This is raw. This is raw nature. It is. It just is, right? Like, it just is. You know, one time, at some point in history, human beings gained self-awareness. Now, you know, how? There's so many theories. Not gonna get into that. That's another video. Okay, that's just another stoner talk for another time. But at some point, you gain self-awareness and you're here. Like, it is. You didn't create this. You didn't make it. You didn't manipulate any of it. It just is. Like, all of this, it just is. It just is. Like, it's not manipulated. It's nature. It's raw nature. And apparently, we're on a planet called Planet Earth. And apparently, from what it seems like, if you were to spend just a little bit of time in nature, it seems like plants, grow out of the earth, right? It doesn't take a rocket science to see this, guys, right? You just kind of have to look. Things are growing out of the earth spontaneously. So all of this, nobody really planted it. Not a human being, not a conscious being as we think of it. Nobody really planted this. It just spontaneously burst out of this organic spaceship that we're in, this planet Earth, which is mostly covered in water, but it's, again, apparently, from when you look at the landscape, a lot of it is covered by plants, by the plant kingdom. And by extension, fungus, right? They're pretty much interrelated and symbiotic. Plants and fungus have a symbiotic relationship. So, okay, things are growing spontaneously. Then comes along somebody who, I don't know why or how or when, is in a position of authority. People listen to this governing state, this group of whatever, governing individuals. And they tell you, hey, look, certain things that grow out of earth, you can't touch that shit. You can't touch it. You just can't. And if you do, if you possess it, we're gonna fucking lock you up for a long time, motherfucker. We're gonna put you in jail and you're gonna be locked up for 20 years, 25 years. You're gonna have a criminal record. You're not gonna be able to get a job when you get out. Your life is fucked, basically. It's ruined. Because you possessed or ingested a certain spontaneously growing substance from this planet that we all share together. How absurd does that sound to you from the perspective of a complete observer, an alien that has no agenda in this planet? Hey, you know, there's a bunch of guys and they agreed because people somehow elected them to be in power, or they got in power one way or another, and now the people, the sheeple, are listening to them without questioning any of their opinions, because it's just opinions. It's someone's opinion that certain substances, that certain things that spontaneously grow out of the earth are to be heavily penalized. The person, the individual who consumes them or possesses them, is to be heavily penalized for doing so. It's an opinion. It's someone's opinion that you should not be under the influence of marijuana, or you should not be under the influence of psilocybin mushrooms. It really is someone's opinion converted, right? So it started with an opinion, somebody who got to the position of power one way or another. Opinion gets converted into a law. Law gets accepted by society because most people will not question the laws, will not question anything. They just go on like robots, unfortunately. And now it becomes a law. Now it becomes a thing, right? Now it becomes the accepted behavior, right? It is completely unacceptable for a well-behaved citizen to be under the influence of psilocybin mushrooms. And the same thing goes for marijuana. DMT is another thing we're going to talk about a little bit later. An opinion. This isn't someone else's opinion turned into a law. And how many people are locked up? Look, guys, I'm not talking about the United States alone. I'm not talking about, you know, North America and Europe alone. I'm talking about the most of the world. Like, I grew up in the Middle East. If you are seen with but a little joint of weed in most of Middle Eastern countries, most of them, you're gonna be fucked for life, bro. You're gonna be fucked for life. For life. Right? I'm not just talking about North America. This is, I mean, let's take a look at the planet as a whole. The drug laws are stupid as fuck worldwide. And if you think in the States, you know, like the laws are really cruel to people who choose to ingest certain compounds and substances. And I mean, psilocybin mushrooms are Schedule 1. Marijuana has been a Schedule 1 drug for so long in the United States. It's only now it's becoming legal. Yeah, in a lot of the other world populations, you know, if you even have a little bit of joint, just a little bit, you're fucked. You're fucked. So I don't know when or how someone's opinion that certain things that grow out of the earth should not be consumed by the people who live on the same planet as you, and that if they consume it, we're gonna lock them up in jail. I don't know how it started, when it started. I don't give a fuck, because I want to see these things become legal. Now, speak a little bit about DMT, and then we'll talk about the legalization, which I got a problem with that too. DMT, technically speaking, you and I, and every human being is an illegal drug, because we all produce endogenous DMT. So we're all illegal, guys. We're all, in most of the world, Schedule 1 drugs. All of us have a Schedule 1 drug that we can't even do nothing about. Like, you can't even control. You don't have a say in not producing DMT. Endogenous DMT is produced when you're in a dream state. That's your pineal gland producing endogenous DMT. When you have a near-death experience, that's your pineal gland producing DMT. So we're all illegal drugs walking around. Schedule 1. Very, very considered by the state, the governing state, to be a very dangerous substance, right? Absurd. Absurd. Okay, now, okay, things are getting better. You know, marijuana is becoming legal in more and more places. You know, we have places like Portugal that decriminalized marijuana. And you know what? It's a great step. Because we find ourselves in this mess, in this absolutely stupid, retarded laws that instruct the citizen to ingest certain compounds and not ingest others. So you have a pretty dangerous compound like alcohol being totally promoted, right? Totally promoted, totally normal in many parts of the world, you know, and in fact encouraged and promoted and advertised. Again, that's just someone's opinion that you guys should drink alcohol on weekends, turned into a thing. It's not exactly a law, but if you're a college student, or if you are someone working in the corporate world, it might as well be a law that you're gonna get drunk on Fridays and Saturdays. But it's not a law. Meanwhile, we have laws out. You know, we have other laws banning other substances, because my opinion as the governing body of this geographical location says, hey, That's not good for you, citizens. That's not good. Now, who the fuck are you to tell me that's not good? Who are you? That's now, look, things are getting better, right? These substances are slowly becoming more accepted in society and more legal. And I'm very optimistic despite my very, you know, whatever, angry or outraged is the right word. Outraged rant here. I'm very optimistic. I think you can't, you know, like Buddha says, you know, the sun, 3 things you can't hide: the sun, the moon, and the truth. You know, and you know, these things are gonna become legal whether the government likes it or not. They're already being accepted more and more by society, by the younger generations, and eventually psilocybin mushrooms, DMT, marijuana will be legal worldwide. Now, the next step, here's the next step. Because now with the legalization of marijuana in some parts of the world, who is cashing in on the cash, let's say? Who is controlling it? Well, you'll find that the government is. So, here comes another absurdity. You allow me to grow spinach in my backyard. The government won't bother you if you grow spinach. I can grow carrots. I can grow lettuce. I can grow vegetables that I can, you know, eat in my salad. And you as the government will not bother me. But if, God forbid, I plant some hemp seeds, I plant some marijuana, and God forbid that I grow some psilocybin mushrooms in my closet, because they need to be in a dark place, right? God forbid I grow psilocybin mushrooms in my closet, and God forbid that I plant some hemp seeds, or I grow some marijuana, or I get if you know the proper equipment in my house, you know, the house or whatever, you know, I've seen some of those, and I start to grow marijuana, you will still fucking penalize me even though this is legal. Again, this is pretty stupid. This is that once these naturally occurring, and look, I'm not even arguing here for whether these substances are good for you or not. If you guys have watched this video up until now, I made no argument whatsoever, and I don't want to, if these substances are good or not, because it doesn't matter. We should be free to experiment with our bodies, experiment with our minds as we wish. We all have free will. We all have a mind to think. We all have a body that we carry through this spawn, this incarnation. And we should all be free to experiment with it as we choose. We have to respect the human individual. We have to respect the will. We have to respect the opinion. We have to respect the belief. We have to respect the right to make choices in life. And so as long as I'm not harming other people, right? That's where it gets tricky. That's where we need laws, okay? We need laws when we're harming other people. You see, when we're harming other people. But it doesn't seem like people under the influence of marijuana or DMT harm people all that much. It seems like people under the alcohol have more of a tendency to harm other people than people under the influence of these substances, these other substances, the DMT, marijuana. You can't, with DMT, you know, smoking DMT, you can't even fucking, you're not harming anybody, like, because you can't even fucking, what are you gonna do? You're just gonna sit there and go to other dimensions in your mind, right? Psilocybin mushrooms, you know, if you look at the charts, the studies, the statistics, it's literally the least harmful to others. So this is where we need laws. We need laws to say don't kill that person because you're harming another human being. You're basically interfering in someone else's right to live, to be alive, by killing them. So we need laws for that. Of course, drinking and driving, we need laws for that. So as long as we're not harming anybody else, we should have the choice, the freedom to make whatever choice we want with our minds and with our bodies. And this just seems like it's so much common sense, but apparently it isn't. Apparently it isn't. You will be surprised of how many people will judge you when you come out and say, hey, I experiment with psilocybin mushrooms. Because, you know, from their point of view, you're now a renegade, you're someone who's dangerous, you're a druggie, you're a hippie. And I'm telling you from personal experience here, okay? So where I got lost in this rant, let's regress it back a little bit here. So first step is to make these things legal, because it is fucking stupid when something grows out of the earth to make it illegal because your opinion says nobody should consume this. It's your opinion. Fuck you. It's your opinion, okay? Stick to it. You don't have to make it a law. If that's your opinion, then don't take any psilocybin mushrooms. Don't smoke marijuana. It's your opinion, okay? It grows out of the earth. I understand when you know, start to say, okay, this is a substance, so we need to be careful. It's synthesized, so we need to pass laws. Okay, fair enough. Do what you need to do with the synthesized stuff that can be lethal. But we're talking about things that grow out of the earth, okay? And if it's gonna kill me and I choose to ingest it, who are you? Do you control this planet? That's another thing. By passing down these laws, you're basically implying that I am in control of this planet. I am the government. I am in control of this planet. No, you're not going to control this fungus growing out of the earth. You're not going to grow the marijuana coming out of the earth spontaneously. Okay? So the next step would be to make it legal to grow this shit. Okay? Because you can't just have a monopoly on growing it. You can't, you know, if I can grow spinach and you're not going to bother me, I should be able to grow weed. I should be able to grow psilocybin mushrooms. I should be able to grow DMT containing plants in my backyard, in my house, in my personal property without being bothered, without being questioned, without being penalized for it. Right? Again, it's, you know, it's, look at it just objectively, guys. Look at it objectively. Right? It's just a little bit of an objective analysis. Now, why do I think these things are so heavily penalized and so stigmatized, and the propaganda machine has been running against marijuana, against psilocybin mushrooms since the Nixon administration back in the 70s, right? And actually, one of the things you'll see, the Nixon administration deemed LSD and psychedelics dangerous to the social. Oh, what did they say? I'm trying to remember the exact same words. These substances are dangerous and they're threatening to the social order or social hierarchy. They literally said something along these lines. And so right there and then they told you why we made them illegal. So stop the stupidity. Stop the bullshit. Okay? Time for us individuals to take back our freedom. Our freedom to make choices, our freedom to experiment with our bodies, with our minds, so as long as we're not harming other people, then it doesn't even matter if I kill myself with this stuff. It really doesn't matter. It shouldn't be any of your business. For you, you know, and I'm talking extreme cases here, right? Extreme cases. If you actually look at the statistics for people who die, you know, from overdose on psilocybin mushrooms or marijuana, like, yeah, there's way more people that die from overdosing the legal substance of alcohol. So, get up, stand up, like my man Bob Marley says, get up stand up for your right. And this is our right. And I'll keep ranting about this shit. Hopefully my channel gets like 10 million subscribers at some point. And my voice can really be counted or can really have an influence. But I'll keep doing my part, right? I'll keep doing my part by, first of all, spreading the good loving that these beautiful plant medicines give me. And second of all, by acting as a voice for these plants in many ways, right? They need their voice to be heard too. You know, they need their voice to be heard through humans, and I guess I happen to be one of those humans at the moment. Anyway, guys, God bless you all. Thank you for listening to this long-ass rant. I love every single one of you, but don't forget to subscribe or you're gonna sleep with the fishes.